We had, as Whoopi has said, a spirited discussion last week, and this is your first appearance in then, and we welcome you. We're glad you chose our forum to make your own statements. Now, you say the comments that we heard you say were misunderstood. Clear it up for us.
Sherry brought it up. She brought up a very good point. Would you read the definition of analogy? You're the one that said it's an analogy.
An analogy, similarity in some respects between things that are otherwise dissimilar.
Very good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, opposites. Yeah.
So how were you misunderstood? I mean, what they objected to was you're comparing the President of the United States
Well, that's
to
too
Hitler.
bad about the analogy part. It's nothing. It could have been, how do they know who I'm talking about?
But how were you misunderstood?
I guess it's called stepping on the toes of freedom of speech.
But ESPN says you can have freedom of speech, but you have to bear the consequences.
Well, that's good. I applaud them. That's their freedom of speech.
You know, I just want to read before we continue, because, hang on one second, Joy. ESPN says that they actually ended your relationship with them last Thursday, and they made this statement that I'd like to read. We have decided to part ways with Hank Williams Jr. We appreciate his contributions over the past years. The success of Monday Night Football has always been about the games, and that will continue. End quote. You're now saying that it was your decision, though, to leave. Is that correct?
When I came in my house and my daughter said, "Daddy, are you in trouble?" And I said, what are you talking about? And she said, they're going to pull that thing. I said, oh, well, if I am, then we all are. That's exactly what I told her.
Well, was it indeed your decision to take the song off?
On Tuesday, that night, I told my manager, I said, you can tell ESPN and Disney adios.
Well, you know, Hank,
you on the song.
You made a great analogy, too. You said it'd be a bunch of Yankees and Red Sox fans get together and have a love lunch.
Right. That would have been my choice.
The problem is that when you use Hitler, you automatically walk into treacherous waters.
Yeah.
Because for some reason, I mean, a lot of reasons, Hitler is not the analogy to use.
Yeah.
You could have said Stalin, nobody would have been that mad.
Yeah.
Pol Pot, Genghis Khan, Attila the Hun.
I didn't go to Harvard, Joey. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know the difference.
Do you wish you had?
The first one that came out.
Do you wish you had used a different analogy at this point?
You know what? At this point, I really don't. At this point, I don't.
You don't wish you're happy that you called him Hitler.
No, I'm not calling anybody. It's an analogy. It would be nice to say Stalin.
Hank, you're not taking it back or apologizing. That's what we're getting.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And they fired him anyway.
And I need to clear this up. You're not saying Obama's like Hitler.
No.
Okay.
No.
I just want to
be real. You know what? Let me make a statement
he's
here.
the enemy.
Go ahead.
That golf game, a bunch of politicians, and y'all, by the way, look at it online, that are out there juking and jiving and high-fiving, was so inappropriate, you know, with the things that this country is going to, and going through, I mean.
Well, that's another.
Yeah, it's just so inappropriate. It was absurd.
Well, you know,
a bunch of politicians out there.
You saw some hypocrisy in that meeting, and that's what you were trying to get across.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's right.
We would like to point out that ESPN is owned by the Walt Disney Company, and so is this program.
That's right.
And they knew that you were going to be on.
That's wonderful. I applaud them for that.
Okay, and we are, as I said, very happy that you are.
Well, you didn't
that you are doing
here.
But you are now telling people that Fox and Friends and ESPN that people should boycott them. So
That's exactly what I said.
Well,
you know, look.
You know, you want the chance to speak, but you're boycotting them. I just want you to clear everything up.
I want to quote Harry Truman. He was in the Rose Garden in 1948. He was asked a political question. He said, "Son, never kick a cow turd on a hot day."
That is so true.
That is very true.
That is so true.
She brought up about stepping in things. Whoop brought up stepping.
Yeah.
The bottom line, folks, is Mickey is a mean mouse. And he has stepped in to that pile in ESPN, and they're doing this. You know, oh gosh, we got to do this.
You know, my husband works on ESPN, so I'm not joining you in doing this show.
This is my Mickey, this one right here. That's my Mickey right there.
That's the only Mickey I really like.
No, but Hank, do you understand why using Hitler was a bad idea? Let's straighten that out.
I told you I'm not smart enough. You know.
But you realize that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
and you know, because
The one you grab at, you know.
ESPN, you know, they say they don't want the politics in the sport. So you can understand it's just a hot
Yes.
button. So do you understand their policy on this?
I absolutely do, and
Okay.
let me tell you the rest of the policy.
All right.
Disney, ABC, and ESPN, and me, and the opening of Monday Night Football are kind of like the Spanish-American War. They're history. You understand that?
What is history?
I'm out of there.
You're out of there.
I'm out of
And
there.
now let me say this. We actually...
May I make one more statement?
You may. It's your
Thank you.
time. Don't kick the cat's herd. How did that go?
As of May. On a hot day.
We used to say that in Brooklyn all the time.
I know.
You had,
As of May 1st in 2012, ladies and gentlemen, me and my song will be free agents.
so anyone can
song,
take
you
the...
mean?
Yes.
I see.
Well, that's good for you.
Yeah, that's good for me.
That's good for
And
me.
America is a country of choices. We have choices and options, and I have choices and options.
Well,
Don't
so
you have a new-
ESPN had an option, too.
Absolutely.
Don't you have,
Absolutely.
Hank, don't you have a new song now?
Oh,
You call
yeah.
it the United Socialist USA is United Socialist.
Oh, yeah. It came out at 3 p.m. yesterday. As of last night,
All
or
My
this
Rowdy
morning.
Friends.
No, this is
that's the one that
this is
ESPN
called
Okay.
Keep the Change.
Keep the change.
100,000 downloads between 3 p.m. yesterday. You know, I wrote. It didn't. You know, the Williamses can write songs, and it didn't take long for me to.
Will you stay out of the
But you know,
political
Hank-
discussion?
Why should he? He's an American citizen. He
I'm
has a
just
right to
asking him. I'm asking him.
Will I stay out of what?
I mean, like,
might
if
get
somebody
in
else,
trouble.
do you think you should just kind of stay away from, you know, comment on
the
politics?
song is
Now, how am I going to do that?
I don't know.
We want you to be president. We want you to be senator. I said, I ain't got time. I want to go
We're very
fix
happy that
it.
you're with us. We have such a packed show, but we thank you for coming on.
And thank
this
you.
program, which is under the Walt Disney Company, which also is under ESPN.
The
We
mouse.
call it freedom of speech. Thank you for being on with us. Thank you. We'll be right back.